The newspaper, I'd rather say, are already talking about who is going to rule Egypt. You have the picture of Vice President Omar Suleiman, of Mohammed al-Baradei, of Arab Secretary General Amr Moussa. So these are the kind of conversations that are going around the country at the moment and here on Liberation Square.
All right, Huda Abdel Hamid updating us from Cairo. Well, Al Jazeera has obtained what appears to be images of prisoners being released by Egyptian authorities during the first few days of those protests. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher reports.
This gives an idea of the chaos that has gripped Egypt for several days. In the city of Fayoum, around 80 kilometers from Cairo, prisoners in a police holding centre are freed. Among them, criminals given long sentences and men waiting for trial. With their blankets and bags, they simply walk past the police. The decision to free them taken by senior officers who had no way of getting them to where they needed to be, because angry crowds attacked the police station, destroying all cars and vans. In Cairo itself, the city is gearing up for a new day of protest against President Hosni Mubarak.
Thousands of people that come here every day, despite the rain, the cold, the violence that we've had a couple of days with the thugs, and even with the negative media propaganda, it's not keeping people at home. People are coming to see it for themselves, and when they see the truth for themselves, they keep on coming every day.
As life begins to get back to normal in most parts of the Egyptian capital, there was a concern among protesters momentum was being lost. But one of the leading figures in the demonstrations says people are still committed to changing the face of Egypt.
Solidarity is so high, and everybody's trying to help us. So we've managed to counter all of their attempts to make sitting in Tahrir a miserable act. In fact, it's a very glorious moment.
The position of the US is becoming increasingly clear.
Egypt has to negotiate a path, and I think we're making progress.
So this isn't about instant change, but managed change, with President Mubarak remaining in charge for now.
If President Mubarak stepped down today, under the existing constitution, as I understand it, there would have to be an election within 60 days. A question that would pose is whether Egypt today is prepared to have a competitive, open election.
The calls from the square on Tuesday will be long and loud, but unlikely to be listened to by the man currently in charge. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera.
All right, let's bring you some breaking news just coming in now. Pirates apparently opening fire on an Italian oil tanker in the Indian Ocean on Tuesday. This is according to the Italian Navy. A Navy spokesman says shots were fired at the ship, but there were no injuries so far. And the spokesman saying that an Italian frigate was heading to the scene. Just to update you there, apparently pirates opening fire on an Italian oil tanker. We'll bring you more developments, or more updates rather, as developments come into us. Well, moving on to other news, the separatist leader has claimed responsibility for the suicide bombing that killed 36 people at Russia's busiest airport last month. Speaking in a video carried by an Islamist website, Dr. Umarov described the attack on Moscow's airport as a special operation directed against the Russian people and its Prime Minister Vladimir Putin. Neve Barker has more.
A very strong, very firm, resolved warning from Dr. Umarov that this is merely the beginning of a wave of more attacks that are likely to penetrate deep into Russia, were his words, in the capital here, Moscow, and other towns and cities nationwide, and also the perpetuation of the ongoing insurgency in the North Caucasus, something that's been going on for over a decade, ever since the Second Chechen War. So strong words by Dr. Umarov, who is believed to be in command of over 1,000 or so fighters, both men and women. This latest attack at Domodedovo Airport, he claims, is in response to the killing of innocent civilians in the North Caucasus by Russian officials as they go about their counterinsurgency operations. But the clear message is that no town, no city is safe in Russia while the demands of the insurgents are not met. The clear demands are for an independent Islamic state across the North Caucasus.
The defence lawyer for former Liberian President Charles Taylor has walked out of the UN-backed Special Court for Sierra Leone in protest at the proceedings. Taylor faces 11 charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity. Prosecutors at The Hague say Taylor used terror tactics to secure control of diamond mines in Sierra Leone. But he denies all the charges, including using child soldiers in wars which killed 250,000 people in West Africa. Southern Sudan is waking up to the prospect of becoming the world's newest nation. Official results confirmed almost 99% of voters in favor of splitting from the north. Independence will come into effect in July, but as Harun Mutasa reports from Juba, concerns remain about the future.
Euphoria as people get confirmation that Southern Sudan will become the world's newest nation. Many have waited years for independence. As expected, the number of those who voted for secession was overwhelming.
Those who voted for secession, 98.83% of the total valid votes.
President Omar al-Bashir accepted the final results, allaying fears of some he would not let the South go peacefully.
We accept the results and we will not question them. Absolutely. We respect the Southerners' rights to choose what they want.
And people here seem confident officials in Southern Sudan will take the new country in the right direction.
They have the abilities and the capacity to lead the country to developing and also to a better future.
Monday's announcement has given Southern Sudan international recognition. Organizations like the African Union, the Arab League and the European Union have given their support to the South and promised to develop the new country. But expectations here are high and building a new nation will not be easy. A lot of work needs to be concluded before Independence Day on the 9th of July. Issues including the disputed border region of IBA, citizenship, border demarcation and oil sharing are some of the challenges. As Southerners here celebrate the birth of a new nation, resolving outstanding issues will determine how peaceful the transition to independence will be. Harun Mutasa, Al Jazeera, Juba, Southern Sudan.
Still much more to come on the programme, including tough times for Toyota. Japan's largest car maker reports a slump in sales, but there is a silver lining. Back in court, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is fighting an extradition that could face a secret trial.
Hello, we have yet more heavy rain and severe storms across good parts of northern Australia. Plenty of cloud into northern parts of Australia, actually, and still some very heavy showers, very much unwanted rain there into southern parts of Queensland, northern areas of New South Wales. That will bring further flooding in and across the region then. There we go. That wetter weather will nudge its way a little further northwards, moving away from Brisbane on Wednesday, highs of around 28 Celsius. To the south, that's fine and dry. We've got high pressure in place into southeastern parts of Australia. We could really do with the rain just around those bushfires, of course, to the north and east of Perth. I'm afraid this wet weather will tend to continue moving away. One good piece of good news we do have, though, is the winds are in the process of easing down. Further north, it stays very unsettled. A nasty area of low pressure, still bringing some very heavy showers into northern parts of Australia. Linking up with the very wet weather that we have across Indonesia, actually, but you pull further north, it's not looking too bad. Much of Borneo dry. Eastern Borneo will still see some very heavy downpours, but for much of Malaysia, here at Set Fair, Malay Peninsula, pushing up into Thailand, generally dry now. Temperatures Bangkok at around 32 degrees Celsius. Sri Lanka does stay very wet. It has been hideously wet here recently. Those very heavy downpours are set to continue over the coming days.
As China undergoes profound changes, competition for jobs becomes a struggle to survive. Two graduates fresh out of college seek employment in a city of 8 million people. Now entering the real world, the graduates become increasingly desperate and begin to question their college-trained talents. It's a time of hope and frustration for the workforce of the future. Faces of China at this time on Al Jazeera.
You're watching Al Jazeera. Let's remind you now of the main developments in Egypt. Demonstrators in Cairo